What's up, everybody? We're here to talk the free agency madness. I can't even control it. My hair's already a mess. I can't keep it contained because it's here. It's here. 2025, the season has begun. We're ready to get it started. Let's kick it off. What's good, everybody? Here we go. It's the free agency tampering period. Sure, let's call it that. We all know what's really happening here. It's free agency. They're not officially signing, but we got contracts going left and right out the wazoo. This is Too Much Fantasy Football here on the Fantasy Football Advice Network. I am Brian, and my co-host, he's coming. He's coming. Folks, we want to have all the news hot and ready for you, coming at you straight out the kitchen, right? No? Can we do those lines? Anyway, so yeah, he'll be here in just a second to kick it off for me. And dude, I cannot wait. Cannot wait to dive in here. Honestly, I thought it all got spoiled on Sunday. You know, we started off with some trades and some contract signings on Friday, Saturday. A little Geno action there. Myles Garrett with just that absolutely mind-blowing size of that contract. And just, thinking, Jerry Jones, you're going to have to fork it over, man. You're absolutely going to have to fork it over for Micah Parsons. So, yeah, excited to see that rolling along here. Like I said, should be having Brendan here in just a minute. We'll really start breaking down these and see what the effect of the fantasy football space is for it. Honestly, it looks like right now the hottest one that we do have is going to be Justin Fields going to the Jets. And, oh no, folks, here it is coming across the board. Dyami Brown going to the Jags, 1 year, $10 million deal. Those are the things you come here for. Do we really care about who's the quarterback of the Jets? Who's going to be the quarterback of the Steelers? No. We want to know who that wide receiver number 4 for the Jags is going to be. Dyami Brown leaving the Commanders, heading down there. Christian Kirk just got traded away to the Texans from the Jags. Obviously, we had Ridley leave there this past year, so it's BTJ and BTJ only. The second year player, Washington, they're going to have him to see if he's going to be any good, but a lot of rumors that they're going to take a wide receiver in the first or second round. Do they do it back-to-back years with the wide receiver after Brian Thomas Jr.? Who knows? Who knows? We're excited to find out, but yeah, that is going to be the newest one that's coming across the board. But yeah, the biggest one right now is going to be Justin Fields going to the Jets, 2-year contract, $40 million. We excited? I mean, can you really be excited with him going there to Garrett Wilson and Breece Hall? I really don't know if I am excited, if we're being honest here. It's a tough situation. You're hoping that Breece Hall can go back to what we had, his first year last year, just a check down machine, let him absolutely feast on those. But I don't know if that's going to be happening. Folks, here it is, the moment you've been waiting for. I know. Somebody else for me to talk to rather than just going back and forth to myself. It's Mr. Wi-Fi himself. How are we doing, Brennan?
No, wonderful. Just seeing Dyami Brown just got a 1 year, $11 million deal from the Jags.
Hey, that's the big news we're busting right here. People said, hey, yeah. Brian, shut up. We don't want to talk about Justin Fields. We don't want to talk about the quarterbacks. Let's talk some Dyami Brown.
Exactly.
Fantasy relevance, is there any?
I mean, maybe replacing Christian Kirk?
Replacing as far as like fantasy relevance, maybe not as far as on the roster, yeah. I think this is good for Trevor Lawrence, and that's about it for me.
Yeah.
Probably not going to be taking him much in best ball this year. Dyami Brown, that is. All right, well, where are we starting? We starting with the most recent. We starting at the top. We have so much to cover here. It's been just absolute madness. But we got to talk about the news.
Oh, let's talk about it.
All right. Who you want to? I mean, I was kind of breaking into it, alluding here first with Justin Fields. So, what are we looking at here with this contract? It's probably the newest one we're looking at. 2 years, $40 million deal, going to the Jets. Breece Hall, I don't think he's going to get the check down treatment that we got in the years past that really made him successful. Garrett Wilson, is he going to see 170 targets?
Garrett Wilson's never just going to find peace in having a quarterback, honestly, dude.
Not on this team. Yeah, we're definitely looking at the situation where I'm hoping that he follows back up with that trade, because come on, dude, I don't want to sit there as a dynasty owner and have to go through that madness again.
I mean, it's just so weird that, like, I didn't think he'd get this much money. I was thinking, like, I don't know, 10, 15 million, kind of a prove it deal. But hey, good for him getting paid. I mean, it's an awesome spot for him. he's reunited with Garrett Wilson. I mean, he did have good years with Ohio State with him and Wilson. So maybe there's some sort of like, oh, they're trying to kindle that fire to the connection. I mean, I just don't. It's gonna be really tough to draft Garrett Wilson, to be honest with you. It's another like Terry McLaurin situation where he just never will find his soulmate, unfortunately, for quarterback.
Right? Yeah, that's the way it's looking. Question in the chat: Fields was number 1 with the Bears, number 2 with the Steelers. Will he be number 3 for the Jets?
I think DJ Reed was 3, right? And he's gone. He's a free agent, so maybe he does it as a joke. Be kind of funny.
All right. Actually, I think DJ Reed just signed with, I believe, the Seahawks. If I remember right. Yeah, he just got signed a little bit ago. But yeah, he is gone out of there. Oh, Justin Fields. Yeah, I don't know. As far as fantasy relevance, I guess like you would probably go into the season feeling like pretty comfortable with him being the starter all year round outside of injury. Like I don't think there's going to be a high risk of him being benched.
No, I mean, I definitely think like if you punt on quarterback, like at the very end, like it's not a bad option. He has put up like, QB1 season for fantasy relevance. So I think if you punt on him, he definitely has an option for it.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't draft him as a fringe QB1, QB2, but I think you could use him and play him and stream him as that fringe QB1.
Like, would you rather have him or Michael Penix?
Oh,
I think that's where the line is, honestly.
I'd probably take Field.
It's just the rushing upside. I think there's just a genuine. I think we know what Fields has done when he has a starting role, and like the Jets have good weapons on offense, so like it's not like the talent's lacking.
Oh, that is interesting. I think there's definitely a floor play with him for sure. Michael Penix, we saw him for 2 games. We don't know 100%. They just lost their center because they have to pay. Kirk Cousins is still pulling in money, so they just lost their starting center.
I wonder what they'll be doing in the draft.
Yeah, I wonder. This weak draft for centers. It's gonna be rough.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep on this quarterback train here. We got tons of news with these. Sam Darnold, I think this is a big domino we were waiting to fall. Ends up getting a 3-year deal, $110.5 million with the Seahawks. Right after, a guy we'll talk about here in a second, Geno Smith is traded away. But Sam Darnold, he's got JSN and JSN only because Lockett's been cut and DK's been traded.
I mean, I don't necessarily hate it. I mean, I think it's good for JSN owners out there. I think it's good for I guess AJ Barner owners if you've held on to it for this long. I don't know. But I mean, I think they're going to draft another wide receiver. I think definitely be using that with their draft picks, obviously we'll talk about him later as we move on from this. But I mean, I like it. I mean, I think he gets a fresh start somewhere. They just the Seattle's O-line's kind of worrisome though. So that's where I'm like in between. It's like I think it's the right move. They let go of Geno, but this is kind of where it's like, does their O-line really help them though?
Yeah, I completely agree. They have invested in the O-line a good amount over the last couple of years, but whether or not those picks hit as well as they should have for where they took them, I think is the question up in the air. I'm seeing come across the board right now.
I just saw it too.
Josh Palmer going to the Bills, 3 years, $36 million. What are we doing?
I don't know what the Bills are doing.
What are we doing with these mediocre signings going to the freaking Bills? I mean, they don't have any money left over. They just dropped a pretty big penny on Josh Allen.
Josh Allen, yeah.
Was it $330 million for 6-year
extension? $250 guaranteed.
Yeah, like that's some money. So yeah, they don't have a lot of money to grab these older guys, but yeah.
I mean, he's a good wide receiver 3, but that's not what I want to pay a wide receiver 3. Like,
not in a room of wide receiver 3s.
Like Shakir, Coleman, now Palmer, now I mean Curtis Samuel. Is he still on the team, or do they cut him?
No, Curtis. I mean, they haven't cut him yet. I believe he's got 2 years left on the deal, so I imagine he'll be on there.
Dude, it's just you can just label, like, if you just want to say the definition of mediocre, Bills wide receiver room.
Yeah, and it's clearly not getting better. They're not taking. I wouldn't imagine they're taking a wide receiver in the first round of this draft class. I don't think there's any great ones that you're not going to get in the first round this year. So yeah,
they should have traded for DK. They should have gave DK that contract and not paid Shakir and Palmer and just combined that money. Honestly,
yeah, a second rounder for him and like a $30 million contract. That's not bad. It's not bad. Yeah, puzzling. But Sam Darnold, I think he fits this mold well. Seattle is cleaning house, despite this being year two of the head coach. He feels pretty confident. Maybe ownership and the GM are making him feel good because they're cleaning out right now. But I think Sam Darnold fits well for what he wants to do. They got rid of their offensive coordinator the first year with him because he was too electric. Seattle's done this many times. Back with Pete Carroll, they did that. So I think Sam Darnold can. They want a game manager, and that's what this guy's going to go in there and go do.
Would you say it's a lateral move?
I would say it looks like it's a cheaper deal. Like they're having to pay Sam Darnold less than what the extension for Geno was. So, I guess maybe it's a positive move. Not much.
Okay.
He's younger too. What do they say? 4 years. So in dynasty standards, that's a win.
Yeah.
I guess Geno or JSN, can he still be top 12 with Sam Darnold?
I need to see what else they do because once he becomes like by himself, like it'll look good for a few games, but then like smarter teams with good defense will just be like, all right, we're not going to let you throw to JSN, throw it elsewhere and just see what happens. So
yeah, I agree. Wide receiver 16 is about as high as I would be willing to pay, I think, right now in this moment.
Someone said Matt Flynn 2.0, and I just had a chuckle. I had to chuckle a little bit on that one.
That's probably accurate there. All right, let's talk about this guy a little bit more. He's getting tossed around. He's not the exciting piece in this deal, but Geno did get traded to the Las Vegas Raiders. He went there Friday for a third-round pick. I believe I saw something about an extension, but researching just a second ago, couldn't find anything. So he's going to be there for a little bit. Do they take a quarterback still in the first round is the question.
I don't think so. I think Pete Carroll and Chip Kelly, they're there. Pete Carroll's older. I think they're trying to build this roster as kind of like a win now kind of a thing. Like Geno's not a bad quarterback by any means. Like he's always high in completion percentage. He's very good when it comes to his reads. Raiders O-line isn't terrible. He definitely needs a running back though. So I wonder if like is Genty really the pick? Because like the Bears have been, rumored at him at 10 and they're at 7. So I mean like is it or 6, I think. So is it really that crazy to take a generational talent? Like, I don't know. But I like it for Brock Bowers and Jacoby Myers. So
for how this team is built, I really think that like that first round running back is a high possibility for the Raiders. Like you said, they kind of want to figure out a way to win now. The way they're going to do that is with defense, which they just extended Max Crosby, and through controlling the clock, running the ball. Geno's a guy that he can go out there, and if he's high completion percentage, like you said, if he can go out there and just dink and dunk all day, they should be able to win more games than not with an electric running game.
Yeah, I don't know if they'll have the money to just because there's no other wide receivers. So I think Jacoby Myers is now the wide receiver 1. I think it'll definitely move up the boards a lot when it comes to draft season. But right now he's kind of really underappreciated. So I definitely would be like stacking on best ball with Jacoby because I definitely think he'll be a bargaining discount as it sits right now.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think that's money right there with just, he was great last year and, the exposure that we got to him. All right, let's dig back a little bit. We've got to recap some more of these older pieces, but Davante Adams was officially traded to the Los Angeles Rams. 2 years, $46 million, $26 million guaranteed. Cooper Kupp's still in the roster, so if we can have Cooper Kupp, Davante Adams, and Puka.
He's gone. Yeah, it's
okay. Fine, rain on the parade. Go ahead, Brandon.
Sorry, I mean McVay had an interview and they asked him like, "Is there a chance Cooper come?" And then he was just like, "No, there's no way." So, I mean, this signing kind of sealed the deal. I don't think now the Rams have any kind of leverage to trade him. I think they're just going to let him go.
Yeah, I think so too. So maybe he falls his way into with the Raiders. Honestly, that wouldn't be a bad situation there. Just like him going in there helping just absorb targets a little bit.
Yeah, I still just don't understand how the Chargers don't sign Davante Adams. Like, that's where I'm at with this too.
I'm waiting for the Chargers to do something. They have not addressed. Evan Ingram's still out there holding out hope, but they have not addressed the wide receiver room. They have not addressed the tight end room, which means Herbert is going to. He's going to get McConkey killed. There's no way McConkey can be a 200 target guy.
Yeah, I think for Puka though, for this signing, I don't think it really hurts them all too much. I think maybe the touchdowns won't be there because I think Devontae's a really good red zone target. But when it comes to targets, receptions, I think he'll still be perfectly fine. They definitely needed somebody as an X factor or on the X wide receiver. They never really had that. They used Puka in a lot of motion snaps. We watched them play, and I think Demarcus Robinson was technically their X receiver. So It's an upgrade. I mean, sure, does it move Puka down a slot or two? Yeah, but I'd still take Puka comfortably in the first round.
I think so too. Yeah, I think. I mean, we've seen McVay host, 3 wide receivers in the top 20 plus.
Yeah.
We've seen Robert Woods be successful with a multitude of Brandon Cooks and Cooper Cup. So I think Devontae Adams. It's going to be hard to rank them that way, but I think you could have both these guys in the top 12 this year.
Yeah.
And then Tutu Atwell, he's going to be that third wheel we were talking about just a couple days ago.
Oh man, now that Diami Brown contract makes sense, I guess.
Right. So let's talk about a guy who is not going to be catching balls from Justin Fields because he's moved on. He still doesn't know his quarterback. We're waiting for that news to break. Let me see. Nothing yet. No. DK Metcalf traded to the Pittsburgh Steelers, though. Left Seattle, 5-year extension, $150 million. Look at that, $30 million a year coming at you, DK.
I want somewhere warm. Actually, I'll take $150 million. That will warm me up.
No kidding. He's got heated floors in his bathroom now. He's going to taste toasty in the Steel City. I guess the biggest question here, Brennan, everybody is sitting at home wanting to know. George Pickens, is he still top 5 with DK Metcalf on the team?
I think they should trade Pickens now.
Oh,
they're the same wide receiver. Like it's going to be it's just so much fun to watch, like from the aspect of it. But like it's just going to be a straight diva off between him and DK. But it sucks. I mean, I will say this though, out of all things, that Justin Jefferson contract looks like an absolute steal right now.
Sure freaking does. The Minnesota has been doing so many things right over the last few years. It's pretty incredible. But yeah, DK, he's getting paid. I think deservedly so. Do I want to necessarily pay him $30 million? No, but I'd rather pay him $30 million than some of the other guys that are going to be getting $25+ million contracts.
Yeah.
So, DK Metcalf, or would you rather have Ayuk?
Ooh,
Same contract.
Have Ayuk. I think I'd rather have Ayuk.
I think I might take DK. The age is probably going to be the same. I know DK's been longer, but yeah, the age is going to be similar.
What do they do at quarterback? Are they bringing back Wilson, or are they signing Rodgers? It seems like the only two options they have at this very moment.
I felt like this is the most obvious one that Fields wasn't coming back when they traded for DK. Why would you have the running quarterback when you got these two wide receivers? So if Rodgers goes anywhere, I think this is the only place it works for him. This is the only place that has a culture that could outweigh his culture, and Tomlin could control him. And I think Arthur Smith might cause Aaron Rodgers to have an aneurysm, and I think that'd be interesting. I think that, come on, let's play for it's an entertainment business, folks. But if it's not Aaron Rodgers, would you rather see? Oh shoot, no, it's Rodgers and Russ, right?
Yeah, that's left of the because I mean Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, Jimmy Garoppolo just signed to go be a backup again for the Rams. So like, there's no other real quarterback that's sitting there unless they want to trade for Kirk Cousins. Like I
think I'd rather see Rodgers just because we saw it with Russ last year.
But it's still Arthur Smith being the offensive coordinator, so it's like, are we really,
Yeah, at this point, I really don't know. We got a few questions popping in here. Oh, Fantasy Meatball. Oh, coverage up, Brennan. You got to jump a little bit. Hey, fellas, thanks for the great content now, as always. Fantasy Meatball approved. The Meatball badge of honor, of course, Corey. That's all we get. Where's your badge of honor? Come on. Let me see it. Come on, Corey. Yeah, thanks for helping out, buddy. That one. We got Grindberg coming in. Looking good, fellas. What a crazy 24 hours. Doesn't seem to be over yet. I cannot wait for this to keep rolling. We got a few more dominoes to fall, at least decently side ones. Meatball's coming back at us with Metcalf and Adams trade. How does this affect Puka and Pickens fantasy values in Superflex basketball dynasty formats? Well, luckily, I think DK's probably got the only basketball value, just being as big as he is.
Yeah, I was going to say basketball value. I don't think Puka gets hurt too badly in the rankings. I think it helps. I think Devontae now moves up a pecking order because with Stafford at quarterback, I think that's going to help him. I think like if I'd rather have like a wide receiver 2 between Devontae, DK, and Pickens, I think it's Devontae out of the 3. So
yeah, I think I'd agree too. I mean, if anything, there might be a few leagues where Puka's value might drop a bit. So if there are those leagues, I think I'd take advantage of that. Pickens, I don't think I'm buying on the cheap if his value goes down.
No, I'm hoping he gets traded or moved.
Yeah, that's a hard one there. Adams though, like, would you as a contender would you buy Adams for this year?
Yeah, like a late first. And if it's super flex, I'd probably give up like an early second, late first. Like if I'm trying to push the chips in and like have a solidified like wide receiver room, because I know he probably finished out this contract and that's probably it for him in like a fantasy value because he's still very good. Like there's nothing that showed me last season that he was declining. So
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I definitely have no problem with this year. And if you could get 2 years out of him for a late first, it's
yeah,
not too shabby. All right, let's come back over here. Check out some more of these signings. I mean, this was honestly the headline of the day, the biggest one. The what news broke this morning, and what is killing this guy down here, folks. What you can't see is the McMillan poster. Why? Because he doesn't keep it in his office. He keeps it above his bed. Chris Godwin coming back on a 3-year extension, $66 million. Coming off, it's a broken ankle, I believe is what it is.
yeah, broken ankle.
Yeah, so all's well. It looks like in Tampa, he's coming back to run it with Baker and Mike.
My heart's broken. I still believe in Jalen McMillan. I think this moves him down a little bit though, but like obviously like Mike's been in the league for, 11, 12 years now. I mean, Chris Godwin, he's been healthy for for a while, but I do think McMillan has value. If like one does go down, he goes back to that role what he had before. It does suck though, but Chris Godwin is having a great year before he got injured though. I mean, he was a PPR machine. So I think he'll be slept on a little bit. I do wish he would have went somewhere else just for McMillan purposes. Like I'm really surprised like the Patriots didn't offer this amount or even higher amount. Like the Chargers, like anybody, literally anybody. Bueller.
Yeah, that was. I mean, I feel like it's how it was when he hit free agency last time. Like I would have loved to see him go anywhere else, but at the same time, he's been so consistent. Like putting him back in the Tampa Bay jersey. I feel comfortable taking him in fantasy football this next year, pending we don't have a setback on the injury.
Yeah.
Not necessarily fantasy football related, but Josh Sweat, DN from the Eagles, looks like he's signing a 4-year, $76 million deal with the Cardinals.
I figured. Makes sense. Going back to his old DC. Kind of an overpay.
100%. He's going to go sit there and say, well, Kyler, I can't really lean on him to win me games, so let's just not lose him with a good defense. I don't mind it. Cardinals, do you think they'll be a 500 team this year? Over 500?
No, I still think they'll be like 8 and 9.
How unfortunate now. Like, it's a cliff now to be over 500 or not to be a losing record.
Yep.
Got to get that 9th win.
Mm-hmm.
But Chris Godwin, so, I mean, we're taking him. We're taking Mike Evans. Baker, I think he is going to be maybe not necessarily slept on, but I don't think he's going to be drafted in the top 12. Do you?
I think he'll be like the 12th QB off the board. It's kind of hard after the season he put up, and he's now has Godwin, McMillan. He has Evans still. We all got bamboozled for a hot second thinking that Samaje Perine signed there, and everyone was in pure panic for Bucky owners. No, Baker has a plethora of weapons at his disposal, and so I still think he's a top 12. I think I'd take him as a 12th one right now because he has some rushing ability too.
He's going higher than I thought, actually. He's going at QB 8 right now in underdog baseball. So that's I really thought he was going to be more of a steal.
No.
Crazy. McMillan, probably borderline not draftable, depending on what your
Don't you say that. No, he's draftable. He's a stash and stow.
Oh, yeah, I love those week 1 stashing guys for week 12. Love it.
Yep.
All right, little running back love here today. We got some Aaron Jones magic going back to the Vikings on a 2-year deal, $20 million for the running back here. I think we kind of saw this coming. They weren't going to make a move for anybody big. I imagine they still draft someone because clearly Ty Chandler, they aren't comfortable with him taking over, so they need to put somebody behind Aaron Jones. Hey, we were just at the Combine last week? Just over a week ago, we were there watching these running backs. They could get one in round 4, 5, or 6, and it'd be an excellent pick.
They don't have a round 4 pick. They have a rounds 1, 5, and I think 7. So the Vikings don't have draft capital. They have a first-round pick, which they could use on running back, but I don't think they should. I think they should use it elsewhere. And then they have a round 5 pick, which they might get one of the leftover running backs. So This
Maybe they
is
trade back in. They just got an extra comp pick for Sam Darnold.
Yeah, maybe. I do think if they don't do anything with a running back, I think Aaron Jones will be kind of like that James Conner situation where I think he can't handle a bell cow type of role anymore, but I do think he's going to be a good RB2 if he stays on the field.
Yeah, 100% agree. All right, let's get in this chat comments area. Corey coming back in here. I love this time of year, though. I feel FOMO in my dynasty leagues when certain players land in good spots. Yeah, nothing beats the football season. When we're actually watching football, nothing beats that. But I don't know. Somehow the offseason competes. Like, this is just, I mean, we just got out of the combine. We've got free agency going on right now. We've got a month to talk about nonsense until the draft happens. I love it.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I think I saw like a post. It was like kids, like football season over, don't care. As adults, you got the combine, you have the free agency, you have the draft, you have the spring training. It's just like all the fun stuff and how we all pay attention to it more.
Now best ball summer. Whew.
Yep.
Whew. Getting hot out there, folks. Meatball. Hey, you know what? Everybody's typing's a little rough, especially, those meatballs are greasy. Slipping on the keys. Wolfie coming back in here. Does Cade Otton sink back into the void now? Yeah, he fell back in the void at the end of last season.
Yeah, he's only good when one of the guys goes down and he's kind of like has like no choice to be that target. So
I feel like he wasn't good until two of the guys went down. It was I couldn't buy into the Cade Otton. I know he had those pretty decent run, 4 to 6 weeks, something like that, but when he's gone, he is.
Yeah, I just think the new offensive coordinator, maybe it changes up and he might be used more in the game plan. Highly doubt it, but we don't know. It's his now Baker's third offensive coordinator?
Who you said Baker?
Yeah, it's his third offensive coordinator with Tampa. Yeah.
Oh well,
Matt
Tampa. I think it's his sixth OC in the last 7 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been bad. Meatball coming back here. I think Evans could be hurt the most in Tampa with Godwin signing. Sell Evans today. Get something close to his value was yesterday. Yeah,
It's hard to sell him though.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It was hard to sell him last year, even when he was going on that run and everybody knew he was going to get fed. I had a rough time selling him. So if you can move on from him, I'm down for it. But
he has maybe a year or two left. So I'd only want to pay a second round pick for him. At that point, I know he's going to have games where he'll blow up and get 80 yards, 2 touchdowns like he does. I mean, he's probably going to still get another 1,000-yard season. Baker's very adamant on keeping that record for him, so I'm okay with just holding him.
Even if he doesn't, some of those guys, like, let's go. I'm going to go win him a chip. Julio Jones in his final year, did he do my dynasty team anything? No. But did I keep him? Abso-freaking-lutely, because I was going to get that boy a ring. Matt Ryan couldn't, but I sure as hell did. I got him a ring that last year, and he sat on my bench every single game that season. So, Mike Evans, he did us well. Maybe you do him well. Write it out there on the pine. Collect some jewelry.
I don't think it'll be a bad target to have. I think this is like, I don't know where he's going right now in the rankings, but I definitely imagine it's somewhat of a bargain if I had to guess.
Wide receiver 19 in Underdog Best Ball.
All right, never mind. He's kind of high and don't want to touch him.
I mean, that's probably that's with people thinking that Chris Godwin was going to go back possibly. But he's sitting right around Xavier Worthy, Devonta Smith, Jameson Williams, Zay Flowers, DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I'd rather have. I think it's like split between those guys you said. I'd rather have Mike Evans over between some of those guys.
Marvin Harrison's going one spot above him. Which one are you taking?
I think I'd take Marvin before I take Mike Evans.
I do too. Luckily, I didn't take a single Marvin last year, so like me, I'm not hurt. I have no scars from Marvin Harrison. So all these people are going to start fading him just a little bit, that small percentage, taking advantage of that. Just like I did Kyle Pitts. We saw how that played out.
That worked really well for you.
Hey, Corey, what's up, brother? Oh, we don't say hi to Corey. He's mean. He picks on people. I hear he pushes kids. Yeah, it's real bad.
Jesus.
Yeah, I know. It's terrible. Terrible stuff.
Why are we talking about the real news, man? The Saints having no real bargaining chip with Derek Carr, so he's forced to stay.
I did see a report that he could be a post June 1st trade candidate to get him out of there. But yeah, they gave him a lot of money just to move some stuff around to kick the can down the road again.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think it's good for Olave owners if he stays, which I've heard nothing of him being traded. So I just hope he doesn't throw him another hospital ball again. That'd be really, really good if he doesn't do that.
Yeah, I don't hold your breath on that one. Rolling through here, more of the news we've got. J.C. Horn, cornerback for the Panthers, did sign a 4-year, $100 million deal. As far as fantasy, there's not a whole lot on the offensive side, but it does set the market for Patrick Surtain and Sauce Gardner coming up. So I imagine they'll get just a little bit more than that.
Yeah, Hollywood Brown's back with the Chiefs for a year. That came after the Xavier Worthy
There we go.
news, but Xavier Worthy's innocent because sometimes exes be crazy.
I don't know. I think those. I don't know why Chiefs wide receivers are allowed to go back to Texas. Like all of the arrests have been down there. They should just be like, nope, you are now a Chief. You're stuck in Kansas or Missouri, whatever the hell they live in. But like, no.
Yeah, but it wasn't his fault though. His ex is crazy.
Oh man, I don't know. It's hard to give these Chiefs wide receivers the benefit of the doubt. Honestly, just the Chiefs skill players in general. You go back to freaking Kareem Hunt. He had his issues over there.
Yeah,
But Hollywood
but
Brown, how much stock you putting into that? Like, is that a late best ball grab you're willing to add to your exposure?
I mean, I think he'll be a late round steal. I mean, Rice is going to get suspended. We just don't know how many games, so it'll be Worthy, Hollywood, and Kelsey's taking a back seat by the owner and GM's words that he's not going to be in that same role. So
Taking a back seat. He was thrown back there and strapped in.
Yeah, I think he'll have some value. I think for a late round where he's going, I think there'll be a little bit of value. And then when Rice comes back, I'd definitely try to sell high on him.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. That one hurts. More defensive news. We've got Khalil Mack going to the Chargers, or going back to the Chargers. DJ Reed going to the Lions. We were talking about that one earlier. I thought it was the Seahawks. It's the Lions he's headed to.
It's a good signing for them. They needed the defense. Fantasy relevancy news. Mike Gesicki is signed a 3-year, $25 million deal. So all those who believed in Eric All, he's going to miss this year. So it sounds like they really. I mean, Gesicki wasn't bad. Had some games where he shined as a top 12 tight end. Not saying much, but again, startable.
And I mean, with the contracts potentially moving up for Jamar Chase, there's still a chance that T. Higgins isn't on this team. And I think if T. Higgins still gets since he's tagged, if he gets traded after that, Gesicki goes way up. But if both those wide receivers out on the field, I want nothing to do with Gesicki.
If Higgins is traded, where's like the spot you'd really like him to go that you think he'd flourish? Give me 5 landing spots. Maybe not rank him in order, but 5 landing spots you think that he'd have the most fantasy relevance.
Patriots would have to be up there for sure.
Yeah.
They haven't done anything I guess there are a couple defensive signings that we've seen, but like they desperately need a wide receiver,
a wide
receiver too.
Yes.
Yeah, like they need it real bad. Other options, honestly, Cincinnati. Like it's a great spot for him to stay in.
Chargers.
Chargers. Yeah, I feel like we've been beating that drum for someone to go there for quite some time. I wouldn't hate it if we went down to Atlanta, like just loaded up with Michael Penix. They don't have the money to do it, but like, come on, let's go 1-2 him and Drake London, just 2 giant towers down there.
That hurts London's value. I feel like it hurts both their values, and also it makes Atlanta a very, very good team. Yes, but for fantasy, honestly, I'm going to say a team that should probably give them a call and just see Green Bay. Green Bay should definitely give them a call and being like, "Hey, what will it take?"
Will it happen though? Like, they didn't even call about DK. DK is a bit of a diva, so that could have been played into it. But like,
I feel like him and Reed though could have worked really well in LaFleur's offense. Like,
DK? Well, I guess DK orders T. Either one of them could, but like the report was that the Packers didn't even reach out about him. So like, I don't know if that's ever realistic that could happen.
Yeah,
I'd love to see it. Tennessee, I don't know how great that would be for him, but like really, like he's on the down. They're going to need somebody there. If Cam Ward doesn't end up going at number 1, I'm going to want another wide receiver. Oh, come on, get off that gross.
Yeah.
Broncos, do they get rid of Sutton? He's
if
old.
Sutton,
Replace him with T.
If they decide to move off Sutton and side T Higgins I would be very intrigued by him and Bo Nix.
And then Panthers and Bills, I think, are the other two teams that could desperately use
Well,
him.
the Bills just like wide receiver twos all around. Maybe
That's
wide
right.
receiver
He is
threes.
too good for them. That's right.
Yes, he's not. No, nope, not good enough, or not bad enough.
Meatball's coming back in here. Love is very interesting to me because the talent is there, but he's one hit away from probably being out of the NFL, just like the concerns for Tua. Yeah, he's banged up quite a bit this past year, and just like we see a lot of those games where he's playing great, and we see why he got the contract, but then it's like I don't know. I guess I'm comparing it. I'm waiting for him to be Aaron Rodgers, just because we keep making this comparison of like the Favre, the Rodgers, and him, and maybe he's just going to be pretty good. Maybe he's not going to be great. Maybe he's not going to be elite.
He has a lot. He is like I would say a bipolar quarterback. He just has moments where they're super high, and it's like, man, this is why they gave him that contract extension. Then he has games where he looks like Brett Favre throwing interceptions, and you're just like, woof.
Oh, we call that a Jay Cutler, right?
How dare you? Jay Cutler's the goat, all right?
Sorry, Rex Grossman.
There you go, much better. Jay Cutler's out there ripping cigs and throwing 80-mile-an-hour footballs, all right?
Yeah, Love is he's a hard one to nab for me right now. I really don't know like how to assess him as far as dynasty. Like I kind of like him as a sell right now if you can get a high value, just because who knows if his value goes higher than what it is now.
Not like huge news, but the 49ers are adding Jaguars Luke Farrell on a 3-year contract for $20 million. I mean, nothing crazy fantasy wise. It's George Kittle and nobody else, but it's it's a pretty good money for a backup tight end, honestly.
Yeah, and I mean Kittle, he was pretty good this year, but previous years he's usually banged up a little bit. So maybe that's the guy you grab. That's the stash. You don't grab McMillan.
Another thing we didn't really talk about with Josh Palmer leaving, like who is Herbert throwing the football to besides Ladd? Like, because now it's him and QJ and then Brendan Rice. I think that's the only wide receivers they have on the roster that's are contract committed. I genuinely think it's just those QJ, Ladd, and Brendan Rice. Yes, QJ's. No, they have not cut him yet.
Okay.
He's a good wide receiver 3-4. I mean,
not for your team if you're going against him, yeah.
I meant like in the NFL purposes, not fantasy football relevancy. I should have specified that.
No, you heard it here first. Brendan loves QJ. Got him tattooed down.
I laughed when they took him.
Yeah.
I laughed when they took him over Zay Flowers and.
Oh, they've got Des Fitzpatrick from last year, the Louisville player.
Who?
Or no, it was a couple of years ago. Des Fitzpatrick for wide receiver, the Chargers. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
Darius Davis.
I do know that name. I've heard. I did see him catch a couple balls, but that's a wide receiver 4 or 5 on the depth chart for sure. Yeah, the Chargers are definitely going to be taking a wide receiver in the first round. It sounds like,
or a tight end, taking Warren.
No, don't say that. That's not. We don't do that in this podcast. We don't hope for things like that. No, stop that. No, I genuinely believe like if Emeka's there, I think they take Emeka now. I definitely think that they will be taking one of these. If somehow Luther, if he falls, because I don't know what wide receiver is going to go off the board. I genuinely like
Tet. I feel like Tet would be the one that fits the best.
But like we heard at the combine that like he's just a big wide receiver. He doesn't really have good separation skills. Like I mean, like will that transition well? Like I mean,
I get it. But he can catch. He can do what QJ can't.
He does have really good hands. I will give Tet that. I'll give him that gratification that he does have good hands. But I mean, does Travis Hunter technically count as wide receiver? Like I mean,
that's true. That's true.
So,
yeah, Chargers are in a pickle right now. Them and the Patriots not making any moves for all these wide receivers that have been bouncing around. They fudged up. You
know who they should call, honestly? And I know it sounds really weird. They should give the Colts a call and see if Michael Pittman's available.
I'm down. I'll pack his bags. Let's go, buddy.
I think, honestly, they traded him for a second-round pick. I mean, that might be a good move by Ballard because his back, he says he's healthy, but, back injuries are just very scary. And if the Chargers want to take a gamble on somebody, that's a good wide receiver to be opposite of Ladd. And Michael Pittman's a really good route runner, too. So, like, I just think it'd mesh well.
And he's got the size compared to what you got with Ladd.
Tinfoil hat conspiracy right there for sure.
Oh man. So I mean, Bears haven't really made a big splash here as far as skill players. They're pretty good, but the offensive
O
line
line is
they
now
have absolutely
immaculate.
crushed. They went out there and got the big guy, the only center that was really out there to be picked up. They traded for a couple guards over the last week. We talked about that. So this
Rob the
offensive line,
Chiefs blindly, might I add. Like, what are they doing?
the Chiefs seem to be in a position where they had to shed some money, I guess.
I mean, but you keep Tooney, you find a way to pay him and Trey Smith. You don't. No, what? Oh, I mean, kudos to the Bears for and for a fourth rounder, like not even like a second, like that dude's like all pro, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, and there he goes off to the Bears. So I mean, are we buying in heavily to DeAndre Swift, or are they taking a running back?
If they take one of Genty, Hampton, or Henderson, I don't even Swift's a second thought. I don't even care. If they take some of the guys like in the fourth, fifth round, Swift still might be starting.
Second thought. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, what is this garbage? About to get booted out of the chat, buddy. Yeah, sources close to the franchise saying the Colts trained Quentin Nelson the Bears. Yeah, they just traded for Bears. That's not happening.
I hope you stub your pinky toe every day of the week.
Yeah, step on Legos all the time.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah. How about that? Yeah, look at that. See, you're on the screen. Now you're not. That's what I can do. That's what I can do. Let me put you back. Too bad. We're gonna put Meatball back. Actually, we got a new question for Meatball. Keenan Allen or Cup would be a nice fit for the Chargers. Mentor young wide receivers to draft in the first round, but they actually need an they definitely need a big one. I can see
Keenan Allen would be good to go back, but they also need another X. I mean, having Keenan with a prototypical over 6 feet wide receiver and Ladd, very very good offense.
Mm-hmm. A lot better than what they had. They'll still have Will Dissly this year. Hopefully they can bolster that tight end room a little bit. This is a pretty good tight end class, so if they can get.
Did Evan Ingram go to the Broncos?
He's visiting the Broncos. He hasn't signed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, report was right as Twitter broke this morning that Evan Ingram was visiting the Broncos. So nobody's officially.
I thought
signed.
I saw something where he signed. I was like, that'd be a good signing for him.
I like the fit. Yeah, honestly, somewhere over there in the AFC West, you really couldn't go wrong. Even if he goes to the Chiefs, go replace.
Honestly, wouldn't be a bad signing either. So,
put that guy in the trunk. The other one, he's done. He can go.
My wife would be very mad at you when she hears this later.
What?
Dude, she is like the biggest Kelsey fan ever.
Well, she can be a fan of him while he cheers on his team as a fan as well.
Yeah.
Because look, you know what? They are never, ever getting back together. So on other news, what else do we have? Offensive line we talked about for the Bears. The Steelers gave up a left tackle, I believe. The Titans signed one.
Yeah. What are they doing? If you ask any Steeler fan, they'd be like, yeah, he's not $80 million good.
Dude, I think that's another reason why I kind of feel like Aaron Rodgers is going there, because he continues to get the crap beat out of him by these crappy offensive lines. So why would he not go to the Steelers, where the money that they have to pay him is coming out of the left tackle that they let walk?
I mean, I think you can ask Steelers fans. They don't care they let him walk, because that was an overpay. They were not going to pay that man $20 million a season when he was just very much mediocre.
We talked about it last year a lot during Best Ball Summer about the just Callahan, the new, what will be now the second-year coach. He has his dad there coaching the offensive line. They made that a priority. Whether it was Will Levis's fault or not, they're fixing that left tackle position and making sure they can iron up that offensive line. So is that Tajay Spears? Is that Tajay Spears all day? Let's go. Let's get it. Let's get it.
You mean Tony Pollard, the starting running back?
Shut up. We got Dad Bod popping in. What's happening, man? Glad to see you made it in. It's free agency day. It's tampering day. Let's talk about all the fun going on here.
Tampering.
Meatball. Tampering. The Bears GM is a master of trade negotiations. First Carolina a few years ago, and the DJ Moore and a bunch of picks to move back in the draft. Oh, so are you encouraging this Quentin Nelson nonsense there, Meatball? Not okay with that.
He is he's made good moves, I will say, but then he took Caleb and then Rome and then didn't address the O-line, so it's just like that's it.
All right, here it is. I was waiting for this question to be popped up. Yeah, Richardson, what's happening?
He's a starting quarterback. I mean, this is his last year. They're probably going to bring in Daniel Jones, if I had to imagine, to kind of give him competition, which is not really much competition because if you can't beat out Daniel Jones, I don't want you to be in the NFL.
I think that's kind of the plan. They're like, all right, look, we're going to bring in somebody who's confident enough to run the offense if and when he gets hurt,
Yeah.
but not enough where it truly puts him in a bind where he's going to lose the starting job, and then after week 3 of Daniel Jones losing 7 fumbles, we switch it back to Richardson,
Did
and
you
then
just say
Richardson
if
gets.
and when? You butthole?
Did I? I maybe I
Yeah.
said if or then. Who
Yeah.
knows?
Yeah.
I never said it was a bad injury. Maybe he stepped on those Legos. Maybe he was hanging out with old Wolfie over there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Richardson, I'm down. I do not want him sitting out a single game. I want him to play the whole season. He's either going to get us to the first overall pick to get Manning back home, or he's going to turn out pretty good because he's like 22 and there's a decent chance that he just is inexperienced. Your Colts guys, help me figure out what they're doing. Yeah, we're hoping. We're hoping they
You
get
just
it
hold.
figured out.
You just hold him.
Hey, he's got to hold. Got to hold.
Yeah.
I bought him
Because if he has a
recently.
good
Pretty cheap.
season, yeah, if he has a good season, then he stays and that's it. Like there's nothing else to it.
Yeah. Yeah, the guy's young. Look at look at Sam Darnold. He just signed a 3-year, nearly $100 million contract. Would you any of us believe that that was true 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago? Absolutely not. So maybe I mean Richardson. I'm not saying he's going to hit with the Colts. It might be a few years once they cut bait with him and he goes elsewhere. But who knows? Or he's Trey Lance.
Yeah, but he's actually started more games than Trey Lance, so we
This
can't
is
really say
true.
that. That's not
He is
fair.
running circles around Trey Lance right
Maybe the
now.
Steelers signed Trey Lance.
I'm super psyched about Milton. Of course you are there. That's who else do you guys have to be excited about right now as Patriots fans? And look, we're gonna be a little aggressive with you because we're Colts fans. We're allowed that. We're due that. You beat the crap out of us for almost 20 years. So yes, feel hostility. It's not hate.
I just want to know
It's
what they're going to do at wide receiver because, like, I do like Drake May. I think Drake May is a very good quarterback, and they do need to do right by him. They're not really doing that right now.
yeah, and I
I
guess
feel like
as
they
long as
should have
they've
been a
been
little more
in the
aggressive.
yeah, maybe. I've heard they've been in a lot of the conversation, so maybe they're trying and they just don't want to overdo it. But how much money do they have? Like, go
They
pay.
had like 80 million, I think. I thought they had like one of the highest
Top
cap
three.
spaces. Yeah, it was like them, the Commanders, and some other team that had like ridiculous amount of cap space.
Richardson needs all the reps. Absolutely.
Yeah,
He's playing all 4 quarters every single game. He may not make
yeah.
it out of the preseason, but
No, he definitely needs to. He can't. He can't sit out in preseason games. He needs to play at least a quarter each game for sure.
Lance in the CFL. Hey, he's a free agent as of today off of the Cowboys. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets picked up anywhere.
I'm still surprised the Cowboys didn't play him at the end of the year when Dak got hurt and they were out of the playoff contention. Like you might as well just see what you have out of him and just hope for the best.
Yeah, roll the dice. I love Drake May. That's what I think T Mac should be our first pick. Either that or sign Cooper Cup. Yeah, I think Cooper Cup, whether or not he still has it in the tank or not, I think he could be an Adam Thielen esque player for Drake May. Just somebody
Yeah,
reliable. Maybe he's not
good
going to
route
be able to get
running.
open. Yeah, but he's going to be open. He's going to be able to catch it. Um, he's not going to be
That'd be
60 yard
pretty
burns.
intriguing if Cooper Cup did go to the Patriots. I think I'd like it's a really good spot for him.
Where are you on Jalen Polk? Like I've heard, I mean, his metrics as a rookie were horrendous, but also opportunity system, all that kind of stuff was also against him. So are you willing to give him a shot?
No, I mean he was a third round pick. He was actually like one. He's a part of like the Roma Dunze McMillan trio when they were really good in Washington. Yeah, but his metrics were awful. Like he wasn't good at separating. Wasn't. I mean, I'd take a gamble on if the Polk owner wants to sell him cheap. I'd maybe give up a late second just to see. Like, all right. I mean, he's the draft capital is high. Usually, it takes wide receivers their second year to kind of flourish, and it's their play together with Drake May, working on the offseason together. Hopefully, I would take a gamble on him.
I don't know. I don't know if I'd give up a second. I'd give up any third for him, but just because I mean it's that season, so it's probably because I'm buying into the hype. But I feel like
Yeah,
we're gonna have some decent second round picks this year. Just we got a lot of great running backs, man.
yeah.
Desperately wanted Dolman, but the damn Bears stole him. They signed him quick too. They were not messing around when it came to
Yeah, they're
grabbing the
very
center.
aggressive. They were very, very aggressive this offseason and good for the Bears. I mean, I think that's what Ben Johnson probably was like. If I sign here, I want kind of like a partnership of control. And him and what's his name, the GM there, have been doing a pretty good job so far. So
Yeah, Ryan Pace.
Ryan Poles,
Poles.
Pace, Poles.
Pace. First
One
name's
of those.
Ryan. We know that.
I do know that.
Last
It's
name starts
Poles, I
with
think.
P. Ryan P.
I think Pace was their previous GM, which was awful.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is.
Yes.
Stuck in the head. Bryce Young will be the most improved quarterback this year. I'd put him in that boat. I think he stands a decent chance to continue.
That's actually going to be
rolling
Anthony
from last year.
Richardson, but we're not going to talk about that.
Look at that. Oh, we just lost another viewer.
Shocker. No, I think Bryce Young will have I think he'll step up this year. He played very, very well at the end. I think Carolina's they finally have their draft capital, so they don't owe anything, right, to Chicago, right? That was the last one. It was last year.
Yeah, second round this year, and then they're done.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Still have their first
round. Chicago's
so.
got 3 top 40 picks this year.
Huh.
Yeah, good for them.
Don't screw it up.
Good for them. Actually, Bryce Young is going at QB 21 in best ball. J.J. McCarthy's going at 22, and Anthony Richards at 23. You taking Bryce Young out of that group of 3?
No, I'm taking Anthony Richardson still. And it's not just because of a biased homer. I'm taking it just because of the fantasy upside of him being able to run and throw. It's just that the boom games are such like, holy crap. But I mean, yes, I know there's bust games, but at QB 23, I'm perfectly fine with that in best ball.
And honestly, they're going so late, you could probably just grab them both.
Yep.
It's going to be not a bad little cluster there. Bryce Young, J.J. McCarthy, and Anthony Richardson. As long as the buys don't hit the same week, I think that's a nice little rotation of 3.
Off topic subject, best ball regards. Yeah, the drop off after Waddle and Olave for wide receivers is so crazy.
Let's go wide receivers, folks. That's what we're here to talk about. Talk about fantasy football, any and all, breaking news or not. What are we looking at? We see. Wait, where's Waddle, man?
He's down. But I'm telling you, after Waddle and Olave go, it is yikes.
Oh, yeah. So after that, then we go Cortland Sutton, George Pickens, Jerry Jeudy, Chris Godwin, Deebo Samuels, Juwan Jennings, Jaden Reed, Calvin Ridley, Ricky Pearsall. Yeah, we have question marks out there. So
there's a couple of them that I'm like, oh, I'm okay about, but it's just like oof. The solidified of like Olave and Waddle, you know what you can get out of it.
Ryan Poles. There we go. Thanks for the help there, Dad Bod. Okay, so crazy, probably wrong show to be going down this rabbit hole. But last year, we finally have dove into take wide receivers. You have to take 5 of the top 7 of your players have to be wide receivers. Running back late, hero RB, zero RB. And then it shifted. The NFL even shifted. We started running more. Less running backs got hurt. Now we're seeing this huge drop-off of wide receiver question marks. We still need to lean into the wide receiver heavy start mentality, right?
Buy the dip, baby. Buy the dip.
Buy the dip. Oh, man. Look at that. They're all helping us out left and right. We're bad with our Chicago players here. Oh, where's Wolfie at, huh? Talking about your Chicago Bears? Not doing that anymore, are you, buddy? That's right.
Chicago is very, very cold. That's all I'm going to say.
It's chilly. I was in Chicago a year ago, by the way. Awesome. I absolutely love Chicago. Went there 2 years ago for a game.
Good food, good city, just very cold.
Yeah, it's a little windy, too, I hear.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, AR could be a monster if he can just complete 60% of his passes. Hey,
if he can do that, I would jump for. I would be the happiest fan ever if he can do that.
Look at that dead body looking out. All right, there he goes, coming back. Dynasty trade question. Guy in one of my leagues continually sends trades trying to get Justin Jefferson. What would be a reasonable asking price if he had 2 first-round picks this year and 2 next?
JJ is one of the guys I don't trade. He's like, I know like everybody has it as a price, but like JJ's like one of the guys that's just untradeable. I just like those 2 first rounders could be anything. They could be Justin Jefferson. Like that's my logic with it. It's like him, Jamar Chase. I'm trying to think of another guy. It's like borderline untradeable.
Malik Neighbors, maybe.
Yeah, I think Malik's probably entering that, Brock Bowers, like guys that are just like you know what you're going to get out of him every single year. Like I don't see it happening. So no, unless your team's so bad, then no. You hold on to Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, so I mean, if you look at, say you take a wide receiver with both those first round picks this year, there's not a single wide receiver in this rookie class that is good as Brian Thomas Jr. and he was the fourth best out of last year. I mean, going into the draft process,
Yeah.
maybe, but like I don't think there's a single wide receiver I would take over probably 5 wide receivers last year. Last year was an anomaly, so don't think that it's not that's the point I'm trying to make. But like
If it was 2 firsts and Brian Thomas Jr., like I would then consider it. Like he needs to be like a building block piece as well. Like so that's the only way I'd do it.
yeah, if you could get a Brian Thomas Jr., Malik Neighbors, a Drake London, a JSN, and a couple,
Yeah,
Marvin
Jason.
Harrison, and 2.
Yeah, it would need to
But
be like a couple guys that are on the younger age that show steadiness to move up.
yeah,
Along with
because
draft capital.
so right there, you're down a top wide receiver right there because you're not replacing him in this draft most likely. Then
Nope.
you're hoping next year, if he has Justin Jefferson, then one of those first round picks is probably going to be close to like the 110, 111, 112. You're not getting it, so it's yeah, Justin Jefferson. That's why he's going after him so often. It's because he's so great to have. There's a handful of players that it's the edge that you get, the security that you're going to get. He's going to be great forever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So go ahead, Wolfie. Trade him to me. Do it. I dare you. Dad bod, yes. Windy AF. It's chilly.
Yes.
Chilly. Speaking of the Finns, they have so many fantasy football weapons. Achan, we got Waddle, Hill, Jonnu, relying on Tua, the offensive line, and play calling. That one's rough. That one is
I'm buying
really
the
rough.
Waddle dip. Jonnu, dude, I think he was a one season wonder. I don't know. I can't buy into it again.
I think that's this nice thing is I don't know if you're going to have to. He's going at tight end 7 right now. I bet you he's closer to a streamer than a consistent play, which means if he's a streamer,
Yes.
you're probably going to get a decent chance at picking him up off the waiver wire at some point. Because even if Tua gets knocked out again, Jonnu, just like everybody else, could be falling off completely. So
They need to be searching high and wide for a backup quarterback right now too. Like I don't know. Like honestly, I think Dolphins fans would be really happy if they got Daniel Jones as a backup quarterback. I don't like from what they've had for previous years because like their defense was really good last year and it kept them in games and they could have been probably in the playoffs had they just had a decent backup.
Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna go to Miami. Not his type of scene.
Hey, they got bath salts down there. I hear that's what he's trying this year.
Yeah, and they got a lot of things down there.
All righty. Well, it is 4:00. We've been rolling for about an hour here. They're flashing the bell at us. It seems like free agency's cooling off just a little bit. We will be keeping up content for you all week, whether it's going to be shorts, more videos, or the podcast. Make sure you are checking us out for our podcast. It's on Apple, it's on Spotify, and here on YouTube. You're looking for the video content. It's all here. It's all here on YouTube, the Fantasy Football Advice Network, or the Too Much Fantasy Football channel. We'll be dropping stuff left and right, all the fun things for you. Brendan, where can the people find you if they want to find more of you?
You can find me on X. I still need to change my username. I logged in and I saw it. I was like, it's too much change. It's too much BMulk. And then you can find me in the Fantasy Football Advice Network.
And I am at @too_much_Brian on Twitter, if that's even working today. But if you're looking for me anywhere else, it's @too_much_Brian, no underscore. Not written no underscore, because if you put that, you're going to find some weird guy, and can't even tell you what he's doing. But yeah, look for more episodes from us. We're going to be doing more. The mock draft drops here tomorrow, so we'll be doing a Dynasty mock draft that you can come all check out and see it. But until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye! Oh, nope, got to hit twice. There we go.